Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Okay, a little switcheroo here. It's going to be a Feedback Friday on a Thursday, and tomorrow it'll be a Thursday on a Friday for our 10 a.m. Central Time live stream. Our guy Thor, you probably heard, or you heard either through us or through Thor on social media, his mom passed away a couple weeks ago, and so he's been just handling stuff behind the scenes. And so if you haven't sent him a note yet, I think he loves hearing from the Purple Daily audience going through a tough time. But he'll be back tomorrow, a Thursday on a Friday. And so today we'll turn the show over to you guys, the audience, for a batch of feedback here, plus a Judd's Camp Notes preview item of the day, with training camp practice starting in less than a week. But let's start the show off at Quick Trip here. There's a Quick Trip pretty close to the Vikings practice facility, too, if you're looking for pre- or post-practice fuel, Judd.
Yep, and guess what? That's where I will be stopping on my way to and from camp, perhaps, because Quick Trip has everything that I or you could possibly want. If you're watching this now, look at all of the options here. I've said this for a while now, but it's basically a grocery store, but it's really a convenience store, which means your convenience is the number one thing. Of course, if you have to fill up the tank as well as get, let's say, a snack or lunch, you can do that at Quick Trip. Quick Trip, great service, friendly people who are actually at the counter. That's right. This is not your ordinary convenience store. This is an elite one. This is a starting quarterback. This is the place to stop. It is Quick Trip. And of course, if you do stop there, show us your pictures of your stop at Jay Zolgad on Twitter, at Score North. Always like to see those photos.
Let's start with Chris Burke here. He emails in through the feedback tab in the Score North app. That's the best way to just hit all three of us at the same time. Or if you want to get on, like, write that down or vent line, you can send requests through the feedback tab. We also got some stuff from the Purple Daily YouTube account that we'll get to. Click that like button, the subscribe button. Please help us keep pushing this thing towards 60,000 subs. Best audience in all of football podcasting, the Purple Daily audience. So Chris Burke says, just an observation from a loyal and appreciative listener. The show seems to be creating or promoting a fragility amongst the audience that people are seemingly outraged if any national media members don't bow before the altar of the Vikings. Perhaps a sign of way too much purple Kool-Aid flowing here. Whether it's the audience outrage over Ross Tucker's innocuous comments a couple months ago, a less than glowing offseason review from the head of ESPN Analytics, or respectfully, even your refusal to assign any blame to Kevin O'Connell for the way that the otherwise great season ended. A reminder to everyone, if people feel the Vikings are disrespected, put some money on it. The team has an 8.5 number, and at various points this offseason have had the same odds as the Bears to finish last in the division. Understand it's the offseason and the team is coming off 14 wins, but the perceived slights and grievances are getting a bit much. He continues here, but you get the spirit.
Yeah.
The email.
Yeah.
Are we being too fragile and setting up for disappointment here?
Hold on a second. So these are sort of separate issues as well, though. So Ross Tucker came on our show and questioned McCarthy, and he got attacked by the Purple Daily audience, which is fine. But I mean, I didn't feel like we piled on him, and we were actually criticized for not doing it in real time. Yeah. The ESPN analytic guy, I disagreed with. So like if we were attacking everybody who dared question the Vikings, but I think we can agree on a few things here, right? One is the over-under number is low, and it's because of McCarthy. It's because of McCarthy.
Okay.
So you don't agree it's low?
I think it's exactly where it should be. There's never been an over-under of 10.5 of a guy who's never played quarterback in a regular season game before. So I am totally good with 8.5. Now, I think you should hammer it. I think that's a very safe over bet. But 8.5 for a guy who has never played quarterback, yes, that is a very fair thing. That's never happened basically in Vegas lines before.
Yeah, I think so. I also think this is two different discussions too, which is like, that's true that the uncertainty of a guy that's never played a regular season snap or the uncertainty of a guy that's been terrible in his regular season snaps and Sam Darnold last year
Right.
is going to lower the Vegas over under in almost any circumstance. But then the second part to this is, okay, based on all the information that certainly we have covering this team, talking about this team every day, the 6.5 number last year was a joke first guess. But the entire country was, oh man, Sam Darnold's garbage.
Right.
The Vikings are going to be toiling at the bottom of the division, but we knew that just covering the team and talking about the team and knowing what Kevin O'Connell is building, not as homers. You got to keep in mind, like, this show spent years, and the old radio show, bashing the starting quarterback of this team. So I feel like our analysis is generally rooted in truth as we perceive it to be. It's not that we're always right, but we aren't skewing. I'll just speak for myself. I try not to skew my opinions to be like pandering to the homer side of the audience.
No, it's done elsewhere.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have personally ripped the starting quarterback for years and years. I would have ridden the Kirk Cousins, Kirk O'Chains. He's our quarterback god, right? I think 8.5 it's a fine number based on the uncertainty of quarterback in terms of like the betting market. But I would be much more shocked if they won 7 games than if they won 13 games or 12 games or 11 games.
Right. I will be shocked if they finish, and something will have gone very wrong, if they finish below 500, which they now would have to do to achieve the under. And the thing about the analytics guy, let's break that down here quickly, is he basically looked at a team that was as aggressive as a team can be in free agency and said, nah, it's okay.
With the league's worst interior pass rush win rate.
Right. So I don't feel like we're attacking these people, but I certainly don't. I don't think we're attacking everyone who's down on the Vikings. But what I have said, and I believe we talked about this on Monday, was it feels like the national media is far more down on the Vikings. And in my opinion, they are holding the McCarthy card against them. And where I struggle a little bit with that is, okay, J.J. McCarthy is new. That's fine. But you literally started last season with a quarterback that everybody thought was a joke. Like nobody thinks McCarthy is damaged goods. They just don't know, right? A year ago it was, well, Sam Darnold sucks. He's proven he sucks. Mm-hmm. And he came here and they won 14 games. So that's where I will defend the Vikings a bit. But the national press and the people that make the lines don't have the luxury of sort of going through what we process through. They are looking at everybody and just trying to throw a blanket on teams.
Chris continues here just to finish out the email. Would be great if somebody would play devil's advocate or educate the audience that the show's relentless offseason optimism isn't shared by Vegas and the money. Just a thought. The complaints at any perceived slight just seem very small market. If people are upset, bet the over. I can already see the litany of excuses coming when JJ inevitably struggles. But like Chris, the language in your email is coded in bias as well. So, and if I remember, I think Chris didn't like the McCarthy draft pick because Chris is a great emailer. And even though we spar with him, keep emailing Chris. This is awesome. But you are using the word when JJ inevitably struggles. The word inevitably is carrying a lot of water in that sentence. So you think he's going to struggle. And I think that's incorrect. It's my opinion. Based on what we've already seen with Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold, the offensive system, if J.J. McCarthy struggles, it's a big red flag for J.J.'s future as a viable starting quarterback in the NFL. With all the padding and the insulation he has, with weapons, system, coaching staff, a defense that's not going to require you to score 30 points a game.
But to achieve what Chris is talking about, he would have to struggle for a lengthy period of time, too. Sam Darnold against the Jets was bad. Against the Jaguars, he was pathetic. He rebounded. Now, at the end of the season, it wasn't good. But I guess where I will defend the Vikings a little bit more on this is until Kevin O'Connell proves that he doesn't develop a quarterback, it's very hard. We have no evidence unless you go through the end of that very weird 23 season without Kirk. We have no evidence that O'Connell's going to fail. Like for JJ McCarthy to struggle for an extended period of time would be a failure on O'Connell's part as well. And JJ McCarthy or O'Connell has not shown that yet. He improved Cousins. He made him better.
Mm-hmm.
He took Darnold, who we thought, and did a great job. And JJ McCarthy's his handpicked guy. So, yeah, I just look, if O'Connell starts to struggle himself and McCarthy busts and then another guy busts, conversation changes entirely. But until then, I only have to go on what I've seen, and what I've seen from a guy who has bitched continually for years about a lack of quarterback development here.
Yeah.
He's developing quarterbacks.
It is funny too that a couple things. One, I do think it would be a worthwhile exercise to play this out for Chris and for others. We could literally devote either a full episode or like a Saturday checkdown episode to if the Vikings go 7-10 or 8-9 and they miss the 8.5 number, and it's not because of injuries.
Right.
What would the reasons be? What are like if injuries can derail any number, right? But if injuries are neutral and reasonable, what are the other reasons why the Vikings would go 7-10 or 8-9?
Let's do it. I love it.
And maybe we do that for sometime in the next week. But the other thing I find interesting here is there's been times throughout the duration of this show. So Judd and I have been doing essentially daily radio or podcasting together for 11, almost 12 years. 1500 ESPN, doing 4-hour radio shows, and then the last half decade, Purple Daily every day with you guys, Mackie and Judd, Flagrant Howls, Twin Show, et cetera, et cetera. And I would say much more often over those 11 years, we've been accused of being too negative, too hard on the teams, too critical of Kirk Cousins, all these things. And so it is a little bit wild to be getting emails like this from Chris saying, boy, you guys are crazy optimistic. The Kool-Aid is flowing. It's essentially propaganda every day on this show. It's an interesting twist to what we're used to over much of the last 11, 12 years.
Don't they deserve criticism if they hadn't addressed needs? Like I would have hammered them. Like if they had said, you know what, offensive line, yeah, it's not great, but it's fine. If they had said, we're going to add one DT, it's not going to be a big name. Like I would have hammered them. Like they've addressed, I guess here's where I'm struggling. And look, I love to criticize local teams, but how are you going to do that when they went in and they took the car in, they took the engine apart and tried to fix every piece that was flawed? So what's the criticism is my question. Unless you want me to think that JJ McCarthy's going to suck or not be good, to which I say he's a top 10 draft pick. He better be good.
Would they be less criticizable if they had stuck with more of a known commodity in Sam Darnold for $30 million a year?
They would have been less criticized if they either went back to Darnold or brought in Aaron Rodgers. 100%. I think.
But would those have been better moves to win more games and build a better team?
Personally, no. But if you're asking why the national media is confused at times, the Vikings, I think 100% it plays into the known commodities of Darnold or Aaron Rodgers versus the unknown mystery box. Vote versus the mystery box of JJ McCarthy.
But Rodgers, so if you went with Rodgers, let's play that out for a second. That's fun. If you went with Rodgers, I do believe that the national press would have been higher on the Vikings, in part because they would have flocked here for training camp, right? Because it would have become a huge story. I wonder how Vikings fans would have taken that, though. And quite frankly, I would say this. To me, Rodgers is as big at the age of 40 going on 41. He's as big of unknown mystery box as McCarthy right now.
Yeah.
You don't know. He's old with an Achilles problem.
Or do you know that Rodgers would just be the 20th best quarterback in the league?
Yeah.
But he's so capable. I mean, there's so many ways that this can go. I mean, that guy, I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers, color me shocked if the Steelers have locker room problems with him.
Right.
But yes, I agree with Dex wholeheartedly. The national media wants it easy. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, the Viking, let's go. Or Darnold's back, let's go. The Darnold coming back thing to me would have been an indictment that you didn't think that you made the right pick. If they brought him back, I would have criticized them. by saying you drafted a quarterback top 10 and now you're going to sit him for 2 years of a rookie contract. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Also worth noting, Kevin O'Connell has, I think, the 4th best winning percentage among all active NFL coaches. He has built, they haven't won a playoff game, and he's criticizable to some extent for that in the first 3 years. But he has clearly built a winning process and culture here. He revived Sam Darnold's career. There's just a lot of trust and goodwill built up with Kevin O'Connell right now. Maybe I should have criticized him more for a couple things in a week 18 or playoff game, and we could debate that. But he's built up a ton of goodwill and trust. He decided, with Rodgers showing interest, for like $5 million a year. The Darnold thing was like $30 million a year on a multi-year deal. Rodgers was like zero short-term or long-term risk other than, maybe he doesn't play well in 2025. So with very little risk, he still decided, no, man, J.J. McCarthy's ready to rock and roll.
Correct.
So, okay.
Correct. But if you draft, I don't care what the Packers have done. If you draft a quarterback top 10 and in his second year say, we're still not so sure about that, then my opinion is you think that you might have made a mistake. Because the whole reason of the draft pick that high is the contract. And I still maintain what the Packers did with Jordan Love was stupid in the sense that you let that contract expire essentially, and now he's signed to a big contract and you think you've got the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need to know.
It's good. It's good fodder. This is
it's
good
a great
fodder.
email. I love it.
I added to our little topic list here for future episodes that let's literally just devote a full episode sometime once training camp gets going here, maybe on an off day for training camp, off day for Judd's camp notes. We could just put it together, play devil's advocate.
Love it.
So let's go to, I believe it's Aram says, or Aram, backup center is a concern. Mm-hmm. In the likely event Ryan Kelly is hurt at some point, which is true, he's older and has missed some games. Our rookie-ish quarterback center being Michael Juergens is not ideal. I understand giving Juergens a look in camp, but could this be another position the Vikings look to fill on the waiver wire? Judd's camp notes. What do you think about the backup center situation right now?
Definitely fluid. I could see that. That makes a lot of sense. You're banking on a guy who is sort of a guard and center. And look, if he has a good camp, that could change my answer. But it's a great point because of all of the guys that they've signed, I mean, that is the one thing. It's veterans who can get hurt. And the question then becomes, okay, if they miss 5 games, if they miss 2 games, I don't care what the amount of games is, that you are looking at a situation where you need a backup that can step in. I could easily see if they don't trust it with Juergens, especially because Kelly's been hurt and he's old. Like Will Fries broke his tibia, but he's still, 27, 26 years old. I think he comes back and hopefully he's just fine. I could easily see a waiver wire pickup, though, at the end of camp for a backup center just as insurance. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm. I could see it. It's also, it's a lame answer because it works with a lot of positions, especially quarterback. But if you lose your starting center, every team's mostly screwed. Like if you lose your starting center for the season, you're mostly screwed. One of the most important positions.
It is, but you shouldn't be screwed.
Yeah, it's not. It's
not your quarterback.
Yeah, I think even like Jeremiah and Alex would say, as much as they respect offensive line, that like if you have somebody else that has played center before, or at least is a veteran, that you can kind of hide some of the schematic stuff. If you lose a left tackle who's on an island against $20 million edge rushers, that's
screwed.
Well, and the Vikings are going to start, in my opinion, the season without that guy.
Well, but they did still get to 14 wins with Cam Robinson being very, very spotty as a fill-in.
You know what? I think if you lose your starting quarterback, you're obviously in a ton of trouble. Other than that, unless you lose multiple guys, like if you lose one position, and this is where the Robinson trade I applauded because no, he wasn't Darisaw, but they went out and got a guy that could play there.
Yeah.
You can't say we're screwed.
Comp pick.
Like I don't think
for that too.
Yeah, like I don't think that you can go if Kelly gets hurt. I don't think you can go to Ziggy and Mark Wilf and say, okay, we're effed. Like that's not an answer.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're gonna be scouring the waiver wire Maybe they have a bunch of draft picks next year too. So maybe instead of trading for Cam Akers, you trade for a backup center or something.
They're not going to get Cam Akers back?
Or maybe you can get both. Maybe it's like a 2-for-1 situation. Digital Plains Media chimes in here. Shout out to Digital Plains Media, YouTube. The Vikings may have avoided complete disaster with Ryan Poles, who just signed a multi-year extension to remain head of the Bears football department.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they may? Because they tried to get Poles.
Yep.
And the Bears apparently like offered more money, or
Yep.
Poles was, I think, their number one choice at
Yep.
one time, and then Kwesi came in.
That's a loaded question because it also involves, in fairness, unless the guy chose to be a complete buffoon, and it's premature to say that about Poles. It's a loaded question because it also involves where you go to work, who owns the team. Like the Bears have quite often not been well run. I think that's fair to say. If Ryan Poles comes here with the infrastructure, now the fact that I guess my question is this too: the Eberflus thing was a huge mistake. Like it didn't work. So right now, as a guy that thought that they should have hired Poles at the time, right now I would not trade him for Kwesi, but I also think we need to see more of a body of work there. And, culture, it takes some time. And the Vikings have a good one. Am I sure that Ryan Poles would have been bad here? No. But I do think that what they've created as far as the working relationship with Kwesi, with Brzezinski, with O'Connell is a very, very sound one.
Yeah.
Feels like if the Bears, though, don't do something significant this year, that he's in question. So, like if the Bears are the Bears again and they win 6 games and Ben Johnson's a bust and Caleb Williams continues to stink, I think we're talking about a new GM in place pretty soon.
They just extended him though for like 5 years.
Yeah, but I mean it's.
That would be a quick. I think the Bears are too cheap.
They've done that with coaches though, haven't they? Or didn't they give an extension to one of their 2 recently fired coaches? And
I just think
that family is a little cheap though. So.
Yeah, I think they're too cheap. But I think what was questioned was, why are you extending him? Let's wait and see. I just don't think the Bears are great culture.
The real fireable thing would be if after like 3 or 4 years, we're going into year 2 now of Caleb and Drake May and Jaden Daniels, and there's so much of a quarterback's development is based on environment, but the general manager is also responsible for creating the environment for the quarterback to thrive in.
Mm-hmm.
And Poles keeping that coaching staff around for the first year, like Eberflus, just defensive guy, no personality, just not like a leader or a head coach. And even like, wasn't there a story that the Colts were kind of trying to push him into, they were going to maybe fire him as a coordinator or
like
something?
Tim Brewster when
take our guy.
He got the job here, and the Broncos are like, "You're going to take our tight ends coach?"
Yeah.
Oh.
So step one, you create a terrible first-year environment for the number 1 overall pick quarterback. But the other thing that could be fireable is it sounds like they didn't really look at all beyond Caleb Williams. We have the number 1 pick, and Caleb Williams is our guy.
Yeah.
Zero questions, zero further conversation. And if it turns out after 3 or 4 years that Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the draft class. Oh, and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy are also both better than Caleb Williams because they're actual on-schedule, non-sack-taking quarterbacks. Like, all of those things together would be very fireable, but you might not know for another year or 2.
Yeah, well, Caleb also, if the Caleb thing doesn't work out, it could drag everyone currently that they're down, including Ben Johnson. Like that's
every other regime in the last 30 years.
It's the Titanic.
But the Bears have had like 6 Titanics
since
Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
Well, they just they just built a new one.
Overrated movie.
Oh God, yeah,
overrated movie.
Yeah,
boy,
very overrated.
Your boy here is getting savaged for that snake draft last week. That's fine.
There was a new watermark. It was our most voted on snake draft of all time.
I didn't do well.
Another new watermark.
You didn't do well.
Well, you got hammered. I felt like you chose.
People have unsubscribed to our content because of my movie opinions.
Wow.
Yeah, I can confidently say, I'm serious. I said it last week. I'll never watch a movie with Mackie. Like, I'll never go see a movie.
Oh, no, we don't get to watch a Lord of the Rings movie together.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were picking films. I didn't pick films that I assumed I would hate, but I'm not, but I'm sort of with you. it's a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of dreck.
What? What?
Well, like you're not, you've seen like, have you seen that series, the Lord of the Rings series, or no?
I saw one of the Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
movies.
you
It was
did.
like the
Okay,
first
I
one.
haven't seen any of those. I wouldn't cross the street if they showed it in my neighbor's yard facing my house. I'd close the drapes.
Yeah, I think people were mostly annoyed by the Star Wars and the Dark Knight takes. But listen, I am a ride or die Michael Keaton Batman guy. Someone hit me up like, "You must be a Val Kilmer fan." No, dude.
No, Val Kilmer's a God rest his soul is a terrible Batman.
Yeah, Michael Keaton Batman is where this guy's Batman loyalties lie.
Is George
Jack
Clooney the
Nicholson
worst?
as the Joker.
The worst Batman of all time?
Probably.
Yeah,
Affleck stunk too. Affleck was the more
That's
recent.
true.
They brought in Robert Pattinson, who actually I picked Twilight. He's a star in Twilight. He did a really good job, and this last one was kind of more of a darker Batman. It was a little more spookier and darker undertones, closer to the Tim Burton stuff with Keaton. And I like Bale and I like Keaton. I thought Pattinson did a really good job. Affleck, Kilmer, and Clooney are forgettable Batmans, though.
Got it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Nothing will top Bale though in American Psycho.
Yeah,
He's a psycho.
The range of things that he can portray in a movie.
Huey Lewis and the News Scene. If you have not seen it, run to YouTube and watch it. Sports.
Quentin Olson 4337 on YouTube says, I don't know if anyone else has said this, but every clip of a like podcast highlight you guys have shown the past month, the screen is frozen every time. Like the picture is frozen. Yeah, so like when we play a clip from the 33rd team or from like ESPN or whatever.
Yeah.
YouTube can get kind of weird if we play someone else's video clip just straight up.
Yeah.
It could ding our channel or whatever. We think it's fair use because we're just like commenting on we're playing something and reacting to it. But just to avoid like YouTube getting weird, we take the audio of the clip and then like a screenshot of the podcast. Sure. You can see like Chris Long and Mina Kimes. So it's not like a technical problem. It's produced that way so that.
But we appreciate the tip. Like he was trying to help us. So
hopefully that kind of clears it up there. We're going to get to Judd's Camp Notes preview item of the day here in a minute after we say hello to MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Judd.
Yeah, you know what? So it's been hot, it's been cold, it's been hot, it's been sticky, who knows what. But I'm going to tell you what, on those days where it's hot, you need your AC functioning at full strength. That means if it's not, or heck, if it's out entirely, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they are the people that you want to contact to help you out. $49 AC tune-up is an absolute no-brainer for a peace of mind. Repairs, installs, reliable service. That's what they are all about. Also, ask about their Total Comfort Club membership so that you know that your house, your HVAC, the plumbing will be taken care of all year long. MSP.com is the website, MSP.com, or give them a call, 651-615-4292. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They are as good as I've dealt with, and I've allowed them in my house not once but twice because Sports Dad loves them.
Oh, did you hear that? What was that noise? Oh, that's the crack of a Northern Soda Company can up there.
Oh, yeah. Got the root beer, the cream soda, the orange soda, black cherry, Sunday purple, too, for your Sundays. You can go check out their tap room, which is in New Brighton. Plus, you can find them at most major grocery stores like Cub Foods, Kowalski's, Target. So there's plenty of options there. I love me a good Northern Soda. Go crack one open. Go stop in their tap room. Tell them you heard this on Purple Daily. You get a free pint, too, at the tap room. So go to northernsoda.com to find out more.
All right, it's time now for Judd's Camp Notes preview item of the day here on Purple Daily. He's got the binoculars, the field glasses out.
What am I looking at? Oh, hey, it's tight ends. I just found the tight ends. I want to talk about this spot because there's a couple of things here. Yes, they are going to find or have to find a third tight end as a replacement for Johnny Munt. But more importantly, I want to talk about the fact that when training camp starts, this is sort of going to be a position anew with a familiar name. TJ Hawkinson, okay? So he put out on socials this week, I believe, JJ McCarthy and him working together off-site.
Actually, we should add to that credit to our guy Doogie right before we turn down these microphones. right now, as we record this, they're probably done by the time you guys are listening or watching. But at Woodbury High School right now is TJ Hawkinson with JJ McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Max Brosmer's there throwing some passes.
Good for Max. Good. Yes.
Cashman's out there and a couple other players. But the gang's all out at Woodbury High School right now, getting a player-organized workout together. Pretty cool.
And that's awesome. And in Hawkinson's case, it's great because it shows him getting on the same page with his new starting quarterback. But just as importantly, it also signifies how far this guy has come from a year ago at this time. And I want to go back to that because Hawkinson's 10 games in 2024 were the first time in his career, 6 years, I believe, that he did not catch a touchdown pass. Now, it was 10 games, but keep in mind, he played 10 games here after being traded from Detroit and had a massive impact. His impact was not as big, and I think that was deemed a disappointment. But a year ago, and this is an important thing, at this time, TJ Hawkinson was nowhere near being able to take part in football activities. He was coming back from the torn ACL and MCL, and he did not play until week 8. Therefore, TJ and slinging Sammy Darnold had no time to develop chemistry.
Yeah. That could have come in handy in like the corner of the end zone in week 18 against the Lions, perhaps.
Tell me about it. So he had torn his ACL and MCL in week 16 against Detroit of the 2023 season. But I want to start this position preview or discussion by talking about the fact that I really think it's not unrealistic to say, again, Pollyanna, very exciting, that TJ Hawkinson is going to be almost a new addition to the Vikings offense because he's now had a spring and summer to go through all of the drills to actually prepare for football, not try to get his knee back in condition to play because that was a very severe issue. Last year, he had 41 receptions for 455 yards and no touchdowns in 10 games. Now, it's funny because in the Rams playoff game, he caught 5 passes for 64 yards and a touchdown. So he started to come on a little bit there. But I would say between him being prepared now, being able to work with McCarthy, and also don't forget, JJ McCarthy in 2023, national championship Michigan team, okay? His tight end, Colston Loveland, who was drafted 10th overall by the Chicago Bears this year, had 45 receptions for 649 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think TJ Hawkinson, the more I look at this, has a chance to be an enormous factor in the Vikings offense. And there was no time last season that you could come close to saying that.
Yep. Totally agree. I do think it maybe is a little bit of a stretch to like wipe out the whole season and say that there was no chemistry. You know, like they still played a bunch of games together, but it is way different when you start the process in May working out together and throwing passes to a tight end. So yeah, like all that work that goes into May and June, and then Woodbury High School on July 17th, leading into training camp next week, he should be a much different player. That was a December knee injury that he was trying to expedite the process, and they waited till week 9. But like to be a year and a half removed from that injury is going to be just a much different story. So yeah, he was just a little, even like, who said it? It was one of the articles we were reading from latest Vikings news the last couple weeks that he looked at, like scouts were saying he looked a little skittish still blocking and just like he wasn't fully confident in the knee. His yards per route run, that's right.
Football.
Yards per route run.
Yeah, it's important.
Were the lowest it's been as a Viking. So it was down like 20% or so from where it was in 2023 and 22. I would expect that to go back up. And he's not that old, man. He's 28. He just turned 28 years old 2 weeks ago. So he still probably has 2 or 3 years of, maybe 4 years of prime left for how tight ends tend to age in today's NFL. Maybe more than that.
Yep. And so here's a stat as well of, I think it might change. So in 2024, the Vikings used 12 personnel. That's right. 12 personnel, a running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receivers, 24.7% of their offensive snaps. Now, according to Sumer Sports, that ranked 14th. But I'm wondering with a healthy Hawkinson and Oliver. So let's go Hawkinson, Oliver, Jefferson, Addison, and let's say Mason. All right? You tell me. With that package out there, are you going to run or pass?
Football.
I don't know what you're going to do.
That's right.
Tight end that can block, tight end that can catch.
That's right. Emailer Chris.
Yeah. Two receivers.
Give me
two
another
receivers
shot of
that are
Kool-Aid.
threats.
Another shot of Kool-Aid. Give me a double.
Or better yet, are you going to go play action?
Oh,
Football.
good luck.
So I think the tight end thing is pretty exciting.
We should snake draft Kool-Aid flavors because I got a bunch. I got a bunch on my big board. A bunch of Kool-Aid. We made Kool-Aid all the time. And by the way, I know this is Purple Daily. Grape Kool-Aid, spoiler alert, is the best Kool-Aid. Purple Kool-Aid is the best.
I just added this to the. Maybe we do it tomorrow with Thor. Are there enough to do a 12?
I mean,
item.
there's a lot. There's a
Kool-Aid?
lot. There's a lot. We could maybe do with Thor.
Okay. Somebody else hit us up here. Is this from Nick Reed, who said, I heard a couple old guys talking, guys who are about Judd's age, and they use all the great phrases like "you betcha" or "I wasn't born yesterday." And Nick says, I thought to myself, that would make for a great snake draft on Purple Daily.
Oh, yeah.
Old guy phrases.
Yeah.
I had one from my brother-in-law the other day. Minnesota sayings. So, you
Let me
betcha.
scoot right past you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota sayings.
Okay.
It's another good one.
Minnesota slang.
Yeah,
Say.
Minnesota slang phrases. Yeah.
Go with. Can I go with? With
Can I go with?
being the last word, that's very much from the state.
Is it?
Can I go with? Yes.
Go with? Oh.
Yeah, because it's with you. And
We just
ordinarily,
leave
in most
the
parts
you.
of the country, they complete the sentence.
Can I go with you? Can I go with?
Yeah. Can I go
Can I go
with
with?
is a very
Oh.
Minnesota thing.
Never thought of that. Never thought of that.
A bunch of people here emailed in to point out flaws in our all bust 53-man roster process.
This is fair.
Here are the biggest names. Literally like a bajillion emails here. Tight end Chris Herndon, who the Vikings traded like a 4th-round pick for.
This was a miss. Yeah.
Definitely a miss.
Not happy about this.
Apologies to Michael Pruitt, but Chris Herndon takes your spot on this roster.
Yeah, I feel like we should replace him exactly.
Kyrie Vedvik. Wasn't he like a kicker punter combo guy? And they
Yeah.
traded a
5th-round
5th-round pick.
We were doing the exercise and I saw him and I was like, oh, that's probably one to bring up. And then I just got sidetracked and forgot to bring it up.
But does
yes,
he
that's
outdo
also a miss.
Carlson? Like Carlson was a complete epic, unfortunately here, and it's the Vikings' fault too. But I mean, that dude was a draft pick.
But so was Vedvik, basically.
So well, yeah.
You gave a 5th-round
The
pick
Herndon
for him.
one, I am more outraged at myself about. But yes, you could definitely make a case.
He deserved 30 seconds of discussion, Vedvik, at the very
Yeah,
least.
we dropped the ball.
Cordero Patterson came in a few times via email. 1st-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, really good kick returner, which helped him. I mean, he was an all-pro kick returner like multiple times, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
wide receiver though. He was a bust here, probably,
he was a
right?
bust.
He was a bust as a receiver,
Yeah, that's
100%.
probably fair.
Yeah.
He wasn't a Laquan or Trey Williamson level bust.
Who did make the team at wide receiver besides those two?
We had Troy Williamson, Laquan Treadwell.
Yep.
We had this is the all Jag. Hold on. We got so many 53-man roster exercises
The all
here.
Jag team was glorious for wide receivers.
We also had Michael Floyd, Corin Robinson, Jerome Simpson, and then the second stint of Randy Moss, which triggered a few people too. So this is from Will S. I want to preface what I'm about to say by telling you all I love the show, but how could you put Randy Moss on the all-bust team? Second stint or not, he's one of the greatest Vikings of all time. By the logic of he was brought in to save the season, well, Brett Favre deserves a spot on the list automatically based on the expectations of 2010, because you can't nitpick stints and seasons with the team. You have to take the career as a whole. Well, Favre was, I know that the contract was up and but Favre it was a 2-year stint.
Right.
And the first year was awesome. And the second year was a disaster. But because the first year was awesome, his stint was not a bust, in my opinion.
Yes.
I agree
Randy
with that,
went
yeah.
away, came back for a second stint, and it lit the entire organization on fire.
Yep.
So there's room to compartmentalize here. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's on the Vikings Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And his second stint got everyone fired.
Right. And his second stint was way after, what was it, 5 to 6 years after his first stint? Like that,
Yeah.
we talked about that at the time. That's how I could easily justify. And it was a complete disaster. If Randy Moss at the end of his career as a Viking had tailed off, then he's nowhere near the list.
Yeah. A couple more here. Michael Reese. Oh, so he's an old school Vikings fan since 1973.
Okay.
And here's a few omissions on the all bust team. Jarvis Redwine, running back, second round, 81.
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely. Not Dozier, but I mean, Dozier trumps Redwine. But yes, that's a good one.
Walker Lee Ashley, a linebacker in the third round of the 83 draft.
I'd have to go look at his stats again. I remember him. I just don't remember his stats.
Walker Lee Ashley sounds like a serious. Wasn't that the Zodiac guy?
I don't know.
Hold on a second. The Zodiac killer was it was like Arthur Lee Allen. There's a Lee in there.
You're
somewhere.
close.
Okay.
Close enough.
Sounds like a serial killer name to me. And then he says Trey Waynes should have made either the all bust or all jag team. And we had a big Trey Waynes discussion. Trey Waynes was a good, solid starting cornerback on the best defense in the NFL, by the way, 2017.
I disagree with that.
Will Kloos chimes in, says, I wanted to ask about the show's athletic backgrounds. Did you guys play sports in high school, varsity, or JV, or college, or anything? If so, which sports?
I played baseball and track. Yeah. I did baseball. I played RBI baseball in the Twin Cities, which is it's reviving baseball in inner cities. I did that from age 10 to 18, actually.
Nice.
And then I did track in junior high, ran the 400. Those were the two things I played the most.
That's like you run a whole lap.
One lap.
That's kind of a
one
grind.
lap. I love that. I still love it. It's my favorite race to watch in the Olympics. It's the toughest one, in my opinion.
Do you ever just like go to an empty track and
I've thought about it.
Run a lap for old
I've thought about
sake?
it.
No.
Yep, I have certainly thought about it. Just like I want to kick a field goal. I want to go. Let's go to a high school. Let's do this Declan Athlete Challenge. I'm convinced I can make a 30-yard field goal, and I'll do one lap of the 400. Preferably the kick first and then the lap, not the other way around.
I think there's room for that type of content on our YouTube channel for sure. I played almost exclusively baseball all through high school. Even played fall baseball, winter baseball it used to be the Rice and Arlington Dome in St. Paul.
Oh yeah.
So just like baseball, and then realized after high school, you're probably meant to talk about athletes, not be one. When you're 5'7" 3/4, no power. You know.
I went to one captain's practice at Benil and said, "This is a bunch of garbage. I just ran forever. I don't enjoy that." And I've wanted to be a sports writer since like third grade. So I did not play, but I have spent my life critiquing those who do play.
Well, you were scoring baseball early,
I was scoring baseball.
in
fact, the first time I kept scoring a baseball game, I think was 79.
Wow.
Off TV. But yeah, no, I did not. I played house league hockey in 8th grade. Great. I will say this. Boot hockey, you're not going to find a better goaltender. Like, I was phenomenal. So
is there like a professional boot hockey league somewhere?
Probably. There's like boot hockey stuff you can sign up to play. Yeah.
There should be, if there's not. But no. So is the gist of that note to prove that we didn't play the game at a high enough?
I don't think it was like
question?
confrontational in nature. I think
Just
it
a
was
question? Okay.
It was just like a curiosity type of a thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. People hear if you listen to O-Line Committee or watch O-Line Committee, the intro of the show talks about these three guys have 16 years of NFL experience. Well, yeah, Jeremiah has 6, Alex 10. And then there's Mackie, who didn't do bleep. Quit football in 8th grade because there was too much running. I played a little right guard in 8th grade.
Yeah, you look like you, yeah.
Kicked out to tight end once in a while. Caught a pass one time.
Andros?
Great.
Really?
I did pretty good hands.
Interesting.
If you're a baseball player playing football, you got
good
pretty
hands.
good hands. Yeah, but that was about it. It was about my only tool. So Anyways, there's the Feedback Friday here. 3 great athletes, generational athletes here, or athlete critiquers, as we've become.
Boot hockey. I mean, you cannot.
Yeah.
I was a combination of Tretiak and Dryden, so don't even try to. I'm retired now.
Just to be clear.
Just to be clear, don't ask me to join your league now because I am retired at 55.
Thank you guys for joining us for this Feedback Friday on a Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, on a Friday here on Purple Daily. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.